Okay, folks, welcome back. First thing I'm going to do is make sure this thing isn't flipped. Let's just grab something that has writing on it. And why is my screen frozen? There we go. And it is not. It is needs to be reflipped. I don't know why it defaults to this. I swear it didn't used to do it before, but cancel. Make sure. Yep. Okay, perfect. All right. So last night, we had an episode where we were putting together these paper terrain Russian buildings here. And we did 3 and I guess a shed or something like that. And I wasn't too sure about this glue, which is extra strength glue stick from Elmer's. And see if I can find the corner here. I think this does the job. I think this does the job pretty well. So that's good. It just has to dry overnight. Because this stuff is not very messy. And it's not very messy at all. It's almost like putting wax on. So, okay. So, let's go work on another building. You guys know the drill. We're going to do this building, North Russian House number 9. This one comes with a shed as well. Hey, wardrobe. What company? It's a company called Paper Terrain. And let's see if I can bring this up to you here. They make them in different scales. They make them in 6 mil. They make 15s. They do some 28s and 20s. And this is what it is, paperterrain.com. And here's the letter that I got back in 2006 when I ordered these. And that's how long I've had them and not done a damn thing with them. So it's high time. Basically I wanted to get some 3D printed ones. And I tried doing I want to get some 3D printed ones, but I've had these, so I'm going to make sure that I don't like how these turn out. Well, I want to make sure that I'm not passing something up that's, could work, because I already have them, and they are on heavy card stock. I don't know if it's super heavy card stock, but it's heavy card stock, and I've had them a long time. I saw them at, actually I bought them before I saw them at Historicon, because if I got them in January 2006, I didn't go to Historicon for the first time until summer of 2006. I actually didn't know about Historicon. So, but the guy by the name of Scott Washburn, he's the owner. He's always been there, and he has a lot of his display. And it's like I said, I think it may be even in 10 millimeter, but he definitely has 6 mil. He's got some 3 mil stuff, I think, 20s and 15s. The only gripe I would say is that, it does take a bit of time to put these together, but it should go a little quicker today because I've got more confidence. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be happy with the glue. I am. It doesn't need to be super strong. We're going to be careful with these things. I'm not going to transport this stuff. This is, I'm not going to be running this stuff at cons. So, as I like to say, I'll get to pick who plays in my games. And I really haven't had a bad experience with that in many, many years. But the last time I went to a show before I started going back, which was in '96, I had a bad experience at one of the cons. I was supplying all the stuff for a game. It was a naval game. And this guy was just ham-fisting my shit and moving it around. And I'm like, I don't want to play with somebody who disrespects your stuff that takes a long time to do. Forget cost. It just takes time to do it. And I'm like, I don't want to play with random people anymore. But I don't want to run stuff at shows because I don't want to be constrained by the time limits. Sometimes the battle isn't over. You need to go a little bit longer. And you're like, well, it's the end of the session. You got to stop. No. No, I've got to like not run it here. So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about transport. I'm probably going to play the games here on site. So, but who knows? I am more of a painter than I am a gamer because I can find other venues to game with, whether it's computer games or what have you. This is just the possibility of gaming. I don't want to just build these things and there'd be no chance of gaming, but that's not my prime motivator. Okay, man, lots of comments. The original name. Oh. Do I have a 3D printer? I don't, and I don't plan on ever getting one. I have the wrong personality type. Now, I am a building construction guy, and and I've taken CAD before. Actually, took CAD the first year it was offered at the college in '89. But I have a really low tolerance of things not working right. I don't mind things that take a while to do, but I don't want to get all set to print. Like, all right, this whatever it is will be ready when I come home from work, and then it didn't print right. I don't need frustration in my hobby, so I will happily buy painted things. I've got plenty of things to paint, so it's not like I need to produce a lot of things that I'm going to get a lot done. So, also found to be better on a base, could put some balsa or foam core in the corner, strength if necessary. What rules again? The face of battle, and they're out of print because I left World War II for like 20 years, and I'm going to make up for it now because now I'm going to leave DBA, or I've left DBA. I'm not playing any more vague games. Abstract games are out the window. I'm not going to play them anymore. They're very unsatisfying to play abstract games. And by abstract games is, I mean, oh, did I put these things in the wrong place? I got to be careful. The set of rules that I have actually are played in actual scale. So if you can imagine, you're this far away, you're, 15 feet away or 12 feet away or whatever. So it's definitely micro skirmish. And, all these vehicles that are here, I'm just painting them because they're fun to paint. Not that you're going to see 12 tanks on a battlefield. But, World War II is my thing. And I don't want to play a game that's vague about World War II. I mean, I would consider Advanced Squad Leader vague. And I've played it a lot. So I want something. That's not what I'm particularly interested in simulating. There's other games that can do that. Now, with that said, you can't have some huge scenario that you think you're going to get done in 4 hours because it isn't going to happen. So my plan is to have everybody play it kind of like a miniatures role-playing game without all the role-playing jargon. So in other words, everybody will be on one side, and the opponent I will control. And it's just going to save a lot of time. People can ask questions, etc. And I didn't do that last time. This is for the shed. I tried running one of these games at a con in a 4-hour thing, and it just didn't work. I don't want a game where you spend an hour and a half explaining the rules to people. Just start doing stuff, I don't want to explain the rules for an hour and a half, and then somebody, for whatever reason, doesn't like it or they have a bad experience, and I wasted my time, and I'm never going to see them play another game again. So, investment in time goes both ways. I will, and this happened even when I was doing DBA stuff. Like, I would teach you anything you want to know about how to play the game because I want to make you a better player, but you need to put the time in too. You need to be there. You can't just be like, well, if I don't like it, then I'm not going to be around. Well, you need to show an interest as well. I had one guy that said, hey, you should run a how to play a DBA thing one time at a con. I did it, and I got burnt the very first time. I had somebody that dropped off their kid for babysitting, and the dad just wasn't even interested in the game. The kid didn't want to be there. I'm like, so I got burnt one time on that. So, you know, my time's valuable too, especially at our local con where you don't even get a discount or any break for running a game. You know, I'm not saying that I want one. I'm just saying that you don't even get that. So, I will still go to cons. I'm just not going to run stuff. I'm just going to go hang out. I've said it before. I could have fun just hanging out and talking to people. Do videos of what's going on and shit like that. So, you know, it's been a long time coming, but I think a couple of things that made me kind of change tack on what I was doing and go back to my World War II roots is because I want to do the stuff I want to do. You know, I've run games before and people say, yeah, we'll be there, and then they don't show up for whatever reason, and it's just like, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to do what I want to do, and if people were there for it, then that's cool. But I don't want to be tied down to having to run these games that have a low turnout, and then something else is being played that I don't get to participate in because I'm being held hostage for something that no one showed up for, or very few people showed up for. Or, you know, a rule set where it's kind of a tournament thing, and you have a group that has decided to kind of be the tournament organizers of what the rulings are of things, which I agree with. But then they take forever to meet and don't come to a conclusion, and then when you finally do get a conclusion to come up with it, some people are like, well, I don't care what they say, we're not going to play it that way. Well, I'm like, you know what? I'm done with tournaments. You know, and it's not so much that I've had a bad experience with it, but it's just really unsatisfying at the end of the day to just kind of put off the stuff I've wanted to do for a long time for the sake of others, and I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay. I think we should be able to cut across the top of this. I don't like cutting in that direction. I got a bad feeling about this Sarge. But I was really happy with the glue, the way it turned out. And didn't even bother finding it in the store. I'm like, I'm going to end up spending so much time and effort and gas trying to find the store that had the extra strength glue stick. I'll order it and it'll be on my doorstep. And yes, I'll be filming these games once I remember how to play the damn rules again. Which, you know, they're not difficult. They're just multifaceted. And it's all percentile, which is my preference anyway, so. But there's just, 20 years have gone by. I've looked at other rule sets. Nothing else has come out there that's kind of tickled my fancy. I've watched a lot of videos on a lot of other rule sets. Chain of Command looked like it could be close, but then there's, I learning stuff about the vehicles or what have you while you're playing the game. And Chain of Command abstracts like all the armor and stuff together, and not for me. I did get one of their books. They had a scenario book on Wintergewitter, which is one of the things I'm kind of interested in, like a scenario book for Chain of Command, which is the relief punch to Stalingrad that didn't make it in the winter. And I'm looking at that idea for like scenarios to, play other games, play my game. And right off the bat, there's like errors, and, ones that I consider pretty obvious on TO&E stuff. The Germans could have a Flammpanzer 3. They had no Flammpanzer 3s in 1942. So, I have very little faith. Maybe I just expect too much out of people. When I see something that's kind of that obvious, I'm like, well, shit, what else is wrong with it that I haven't noticed? If you're doing one of these, like, you got to make a modification to this tank so it looks correct for the same time period and paint it for the right thing. If you're going through all that effort, you can at least expect the rules to at least be accurate with regards to what vehicles were in what place, Nangwaya, welcome. Just popping in to say hi. Hope I have a great evening. Well, I hope you have one too, man. Thank you. I'm a little bit over the weather now. I had a cough that wouldn't go away, and I think I'm over it. And if the reason I'm over it is it was allergies, I ended up taking Zyrtec for a couple days, and I don't know what the hell I'm allergic to. Probably dust mites or something you can't do shit about. Well, I didn't know jack shit about dust mites, and I looked them up yesterday, and that was kind of a mistake, because they're all over the place everywhere, and I don't necessarily live in a very dusty place, but it's just one of those things that, anyways, the Zyrtec looked like it did the job. We'll see how many times I cough tonight. I don't think it'll be very many. Just one of those things you change, the older you get, you start picking up things you didn't have before. 5 years ago, I didn't have to take my contacts off to do this stuff. I could just do it in 20/20 vision. Well, corrected 20/20 vision, because I'm built-in nearsighted anyways, but I would just do it with contacts. It never occurred to me. Now I can't do that. Now I can't see shit up front. Readers won't do it, so. But it helps. It helps you focus on these details. I'm seeing stuff I'm enjoying the detail a lot of these things have that I wouldn't have seen before, because I'm like all up in it. I'm pretty sure these were printed with an inkjet. Sure looks like it. I said we'll make all these up. We'll put them on the terrain field, see how we like them. They'll probably work just fine, but if I absolutely hate them, then I'm not going to use them, and I'll get some 3D printed stuff. And maybe I'll like them so much I'll get more. I only got the smallest hamlet pack. I don't even have a church, So can't have a Russian village without a church, a proper village. These broken sections are kind of annoying because you got these little jagged things you need to take out. Definitely a lot better. And get these done during the week. And on the weekend, we can knock some more tanks out. This one's almost done. This one's almost ready for weathering. And it looks like shit in this video. You know, you got to take like a photo of it or whatever. But, you know, this is one of those Pegasus models, T26. So, got the stand ready for it and everything. Yeah. So. It's also really difficult to play a commercially available rule set that you didn't create that may have some glaring problem you have to deal with. But because you're in a tournament setting, you have to put up with it and play the rules as written. And it's just really annoying. You know, it's a problem that never has a solution. But I left World War II for about 20 years. I come back. There's all kinds of stuff that I have from companies that's no longer made anymore. Like the company's like defunct. I'm like, what the hell happened? Then I realized, you know, I guess 20 years is a long time. But there's several companies that I thought really high of that are no longer making this stuff anymore. Cromwell Models. They made some excellent resin vehicles. Probably the nicest vehicles out there of anybody in 1/72nd, 1/76 scale. They weren't cheap. Out of business. MMS, white metal kits, out of business. Battlefield miniatures, out of business. They're still kind of around in other forms, but I had a bunch of Germans and Russians for this. Their Stalingrad line. I got them when they were brand new in 2002. Gone. Molds no good. Company folded, or you know, changed ownership, or something happened. So, thank goodness I had the foresight to. I ordered one pack of everything they have because I want, you know, I want all the figures to be different if I can get it, because you know they're all going to have names on them and stuff. It's almost a role playing game in respect that you're only running like a half a squad. And they do have traits. You're not, you know, checking for traps and shit like that, but, you know, it's personal when you lose somebody. So you don't want everybody to have different traits, but then they all are represented by the same figure, you know? Nordic, welcome back. I saved you a seat. It's going great, man. This glue worked great. You know, it's not industrial strength or anything, but, you know, we're going to be careful with them. It's forgiving. And if this is an inkjet, I don't want to get something that's going to make it wet and maybe these colors will run or something. I don't want to go that route. Wardrobe, was it your new house or your old house that had a huge gaming room? I can't remember which one it was, but you had or have a huge. Why do I not trust that seat? You know what to expect from me by now. I'm not somebody that's full of surprises. You regulars know what I'm all about. I'm not going to come on here one time on some feed and be praising Hitler or something like that. I was talking to my daughter about that because coming up on my thing. I don't know anything about famous people. I don't follow them, and I'm like, what is this thing about Kanye praising Hitler? There's got to be more to it. It just can't be like that. Like nobody does. I mean, famous people are crazy, but nobody's that crazy. Old House. So the Old House was the one that had the good, cool pig. Ah, that stinks. I've seen some people that have some good game. I'm very happy. I have a dedicated room that has good light in it. High speed internet. Comfortable temperature. No complaints here. I had a friend of mine here in town who never could get any painting done because he didn't have a dedicated painting area. I'm like, that doesn't work. That doesn't, you can't just, like, okay, I have a couple hours to do, and it takes you an hour to take everything out, remember where you were at, and another hour to put it back away, or half an hour to put it back away. It's just, you're not going to get anything done that way. You need to be able to leave things as you had them. Oliver Cromwell, welcome. You figured out an interesting way to play miniature games without dedicating the money and time to them. Create counters out of cereal box and move them around the game table. Hey, whatever works for you. It's better than checkers. It's better than checkers. These little destroyed versions are kind of finicky, but, well, I'm only going to have to do this once. So if I absolutely hate these, then we'll get some of the Pegasus houses, which are actually pretty inexpensive. You get like 2 houses for like $11 or something like that. They're actually pretty inexpensive. And there's all kinds of 3D printed stuff that... But I don't think I'd mix the two. I don't think I'd use these and the 3D printed stuff. Now for Normandy, I've got some stuff I've had for a long time that was very expensive to get at the time. I think it was from a company called the Queen's Hussars. And I've got like a farmhouse. It's all like resin. And it needs a lot of cleanup. Like it's flashy. And a couple of city blocks with like tenement type buildings. So that might be a little bit more compatible with getting 3D printed buildings if those need to be expanded, but we're just going to focus on the Eastern Front for now. Okay, I think we got that cut out, right? So let's dump this because I don't like looking at stuff that distracts me. Used to do that with coins. Good way to try genres you're not sure you'd even want to play. I've gotten into painting just recently. Sadly, they look mediocre. Well, at least you live in a time where lots of people are willing to show you videos and stuff to give you ideas. This is something I've been doing since I was 15, so what's that? Over 35 years, you know, and really since about 96, 97 is the only stuff worth commenting about. The stuff before that, you know, my stuff sucked. I was not happy about it. I got rid of it. Didn't want to look at it. But painting is great. It's therapy. It's therapeutic. I think it is. And it's forgiving. You can just, you know, you don't like how something turns out, you can repaint it. Well, it depends how thick you paint things. I happen to paint things very, 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 very thin. But you can at least go and watch a show and like, I really like how that turned out. What techniques did he use? Or like, ooh, I don't like how that looks at all. We'll just go to a different channel. That's what I did with vehicles. I really had no experience painting these type of vehicles. I'm like, I gotta find my style. I don't want to paint 20 vehicles and be unhappy with them, and then have to make a decision of whether I get rid of them or have to look at these ugly things I don't like. So I watched several videos of different people showing their techniques, and some things just are just too complicated. You know, I didn't want to do the whole rust stains and dust effects and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I need them to look equivalent to the figures. Oh, I did I miss this whole corner over here? Good Lord. And really happy with how they turned out. They turned out how I wanted them to look. So, but again, I didn't have really any experience doing the vehicles. But you know, I've been painting for over 35 years, so I have a clue. And that helps. Even though it's not the same genre. I got one vehicle that I did paint a long time ago. And it doesn't look bad, but it doesn't look as good as the ones I do now. So I'm going to do a refurb on it. It's a Martyr 3 from a company called Millicast. Okay, now we got to fold these jokers. What I can't do is I can't do this and like watch television. And I got a TV right here. It'd be great, like, oh, watch a movie and paint. Nope. Can't do it. Because I'd pay attention to that and then the paint would dry on my brush, and I'm not a good multitasker. If the TV is on, I'm watching it completely, or I want it off. Because it's just creating interference. I'm not programmed to be able to deal with that kind of stuff. Okay, and then we glue these two guys together. All right. It's going liberal with this stuff and going pretty thick. And we're going to do the other side too. Okay. And now we do that's the inside of the house. I wonder if the floor matches on this one. If it does, it's just the isolated circumstance of that one that doesn't work. Yep. Just that one floor for that one barn doesn't work properly. Okay. And we'll do the same thing here. I would like to do a bit of 100 Years' War Knights, but damn, the heraldry looks intimidating. I can see that. Two typos in a row. Yeah, we all do them. I'll type stuff and then I can't type while looking at the screen. I don't hunt for the keys, but I'm just old enough that I didn't take typing or anything in school. So I don't go hunting for the keys, but I can't look at the screen and type. So I'll throw stuff on there and then quickly proofread it. And if I missed it, I'm actually a really good speller, etc. But it happens. We're all human, unfortunately. Actually, it beats the alternatives. It beats the alternatives. I don't want to be a dog or whatever. Come back as one of those dogs that a homeless guy has. You're a dog and you're hungry. Like I said, I already have these, so I'm not losing anything doing this. It was time to either do something with these things or just forget I have them. Have I ever done English Civil War stuff? No. No, not my period. I do like Renaissance stuff. I just like the 1500s better than the 1600s. And I do prefer English Civil War to American Civil War. There's not many things I dislike more than ACW. It's just not my thing. My people weren't over here yet. There's no tie-in for me. Now, the one thing I will say about American Civil War is if I had to do it, I know what figures I'd use because my hero sculptor did a bunch of them. Full of glory. And they're excellent. But I have no interest in the history of it. It's not that unpopular of a period, though. Oh, this is weird. No, it's not. I got it. It looks like the top is the bottom and the bottom is the top. But it isn't. It's just strange that these windows, the details on the bottom and the top is flat. Silly Russians. Silly, silly Russians. There's lots of periods that are overrepresented and lots of periods that are underrepresented. I got a chuckle when I heard somebody, it's like, yeah, this is, I forget who it was, but it was somebody who was older. Older meaning they were at least my age, and they had never played a World War II game. I'm like, that's all we used to play. It depends what people around you are playing. And of course, what interests you personally as well. All right, this one's not going to be able to stay on there and overnight. I'm going to have to let it glue over here by itself. Okay. And the roofage. I'm pretty patient, but man, there's some things I can't handle. I remember a long time ago, well, over 20 years ago, I wanted to get a model of a Spanish galleon, for my house. So I went and I found a kit that's all wooden. You got to do all the rigging and all that stuff. That's not the problem. The problem is that I have no experience like shaping a hull with like shapers where you have to hold it in place and let it dry. That's just another skill set I don't have. I've never done it before. And I ended up not doing anything with it. I ended up selling it on eBay at a loss. Not a huge loss, but at a loss. And that's just one of those that you had to buy like a frame or something. It was just way out of my league doing something like that. Set of Black Seas sitting in the corner. The rigging looks like a nightmare. I don't think the rigging is that. I'm not sure what scale Black Seas is, but it's got to be bigger than. It's probably 1/600, I bet. Because 1/1200 is what we had. I had a couple of sailing ship things, and one of them was, it was. I invented a couple new curse words when I did it. Is it still up here? It is. Let's see if I can. It's been through hell, but I did do all the rigging on it. And you had to drill and pass through things here, and the sails are actually really well painted. And the rigging isn't bad, but it's come undone. I spent all night, I stayed up all night finishing this for a game we're going to do. Played the game once, absolutely hated it. Never built another one. That's 20 hours or something of my life that's gone. But I don't like sailing ships because, especially of that Napoleonic period, because they all look the same. So then it's just a matter of, okay, well, who are you fighting? Well, the ones with the yellow details are fighting the ones that have the white details. Like, that's just not interesting enough for me. But, different strokes for different folks. 1/700? Okay. Yeah, we don't have time to do everything, so you kind of have to pick and choose who's going to be the winners and who's going to be the losers as far as your hobby goes. Or you can try to do everything and then just, come up empty-handed. Put some more of this down. Okay, and what's this look like? Can Yuri come out and play? Alright. And what is this? A little shed? We'll build it too. I know some of these have a chimney. I'll worry about that later. We will worry about chimneys at a later date. Cut the little chimney here. Nothing there. Okay. I don't think I've coughed once since I've been on. Allergies. I woke up this morning and I couldn't have anything to eat. I had to fast from doing my blood work. And I had the best experience that I've ever had. I've never had a bad experience. It's just the best experience. Last time I had gone, I had this one lady who was like a miracle worker, like really good at drawing blood. And this lady today was even better. And I told her, and I filled out the comment card. Hopefully they'll give her a raise. It's nice to encounter people that really know what the hell they're doing. It's kind of not that common anymore, you know. You got people that suck at their job and they don't care and they don't get fired. You know, it's nice seeing that people that are competent. We'll still go to shows. We're not going to Historicon this year. Supposedly going to Europe at the end of the year, so we're going to use the time for that, the vacation time for that. Have I had experience with bicorn miniatures? Their Civil War miniatures look amazing. I have not. I honestly don't know much about them, about English Civil War miniatures. I know that Old Glory, not Old Glory. Oh man, Blue Moon make ECW. It depends on what your style is. You know, Essex always make them. I think that, you know, Essex figures are fine. They're just not like, you're not dying to do another one of those armies. I can't think of anybody who does really particularly good English Civil War armies that I'm aware of. You know, head and shoulders above everybody else. Nobody I can think of right off the bat. But it's not that unpopular of a period. I think Lace Wars is definitely more rare. I mean, it's probably the second most common Civil War game. Most common Civil War what do you call it, material. Now, I don't care for ACW because of who's in it, and also the period. I don't like the 1860s as the dress and stuff that people use. Just isn't very inspiring, at least for me. How often do I see World War One? Not that often. If you don't include like airplanes, The problem with World War One is the trench just doesn't make a good game. The same way I think aircraft carriers ruin World War II naval stuff. Or they can ruin World War II naval stuff. This is strange. I've got two sides here. And like something's missing. This is the roof for it. Is it? No. Wouldn't be a corner like that, would it? That's the roof to that. I just noticed that. Well, it's a freebie if I can't figure it out. This is a roof. Fencing. Okay, fences are over there. I'm not worried about fences at this moment. That doesn't mean I'm not going to use them. I'm just not going to focus my attention on them. That's very strange that this only has... It's three-sided. Where's the fourth side? Oh, maybe it connects to a building. That's what it is. What building does it frickin' connect to? That's what it is. It's made to connect to something else. And here's the roof for it. Well, we'll probably glue this down and just leave it so you can attach it to something else. And play ones like some. Most people who find ACW boring are not taught it correctly. I just don't care about it at all. I don't like the period. I don't like the combatants. I don't like the hairstyles. People running around with weird looking sideburns and shit like that. I don't like the weaponry of it. It's just not my thing. I can't be into everything. God damn it. You ought to know that. If anybody ought to know that, it's you. I can't be into everything. Your own words come back to bite you. No, I haven't. I'm quite bad at 28. I'm not sure about 15s. 28s just take too long. I'm pretty sure I'm never going to do 28s. But I don't have a background of that. You know, I don't have a love for them based on other games I used to play as a kid or something. And I bet that is a huge appeal of them. Oh, I used to be a Warhammer player, now I'm just doing historicals. Well, I was never a Warhammer player. I've never played Warhammer. The closest I've come to play Warhammer, or 40K, or anything like that, is I got Warhammer Quest or something like that on my phone. I played that quite a bit, not in a while, but short of that. Well, I don't mind different scales. The consumer, benefits from having choices. Yeah, we're going to do it like this. This way. Man, this glue is really forgiving. Sure, it's not the strongest, but I can move it and adjust it and stuff. And you can do stuff like get rid of the excess and it's not going to stain anything. Okay. Now we can attach this to another building like works. Okay, let's get rid of these extras. The Steel Fist ones. If that's a 28mm company, the Steel Fist Renaissance stuff is just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. It's just too expensive, and in my case, they just take too long to. They take too long to paint. I end up spending 10 hours on a figure. I don't have that kind of time. I don't have that kind of time. Okay, that's the one I was working on before. I'd rather leave that one for last. Is this the other version of it? It looks like one just like it. Why would there be two that are the same? Trying to figure out the mysteries. Here's another side that just has an attachment to it. All right. This is the same as this. Okay, so if this is the same as this one, then I need to have another sheet that has only the ruined version of that. Let's see. Put my glasses so I can find myself. Here I am. And here it is. There it is. All right, let's take this chimney out. This is why I don't understand people that have a messy work area, because mine's not even that messy and I'm still having things that come up. Steel Fist is 15mm. You sure? Steel Fist miniatures? No. The Old Glory ECW look very messy, yeah. No. Really? Let's see. Steel Fist miniatures. Okay, that's the thing, is the Steel Fists that I have seen are the 28mm for the Renaissance. I have not seen the ECW Steel Fist. I actually didn't even know they made them. Let's see what these guys look like. Let's look at these folks. Dragoons on foot. Oh, these guys look good. Yeah, these guys look really good. Now, what kind of an abortion do you do with these pikes? Yeah, this company of pike at charge, that doesn't work. You need to have them upright. Yeah, these guys look really good. They're well proportioned. You got any cavalry? Troop of Karas. Gotta love me some Karas. Oh, these guys look really good. Yeah, get them. How difficult are 15mm to paint? I don't think they're difficult at all, but I'm probably the wrong person to ask. I've got 15,000 hours of experience with them, probably. Well, I personally think the bigger you go with the figure, the more difficult it is. Because you've got two things with painting. And one thing is that if you have too big of an area, there's a roof, here's the floor. I want to get this chimney out of here. And one of the things is that the bigger your miniature is, the more noticeable that you didn't do an awesome job it is. So there's some people out there that just do incredible jobs on 28s and stuff. But they're probably spending, 12, 15 hours on a figure. That's not reasonable for most folks. So 15s, I undercoat black and then pick things out. I think they turn out really well, but I like them. Some people are just like, they don't like 15s at all. They're motivated by scale. So, and of course, if you're doing it alone, you don't have any peer pressure. You can do it however the hell you want, not necessarily how your war games group wants to do it. Like you might want to play English Civil War, and there's already folks in your group that have English Civil War, and they have it at a certain scale. So you either got to start over with everybody, or just work with them. I don't think 15s are difficult at all to paint, but I'm probably the wrong person to ask. Because I got a lot of experience painting. I had a lot of experience painting before I ever painted 15s. And I just found them to be very forgiving. I got more buildings I think that I'll ever need. For the Eastern Front anyways. Cromwell, what part of the world are you from? Where are you visiting from? Okay. Put this away. Let's put this down. And this is the other side of... I cut that one piece out like 15 years ago. And now I'll finally get around and doing something with it. Where did I put it? That's the roof for it. No matter, it'll turn up. It's not like it could have been anywhere other than here. U.S. Aren't we all? Yeah, see if there's some local people to give you some advice. The problem with doing stuff for like a game like that is that you got to make a decision. Okay, how am I going to base them? It's not like you can just base them all individually. They're going to be based multiple guys on a stand more than likely. So what size stands do you use? You can do whatever the hell you want if it's just you, But if you plan on playing with another group, or you might want some consistency with the other members. If that's important to you, it might not be. I don't know where the hell that other piece went. it is here somewhere. I probably just moved it off to the side. Like I said, my area is not. I've seen some of you guys' work areas, and I don't know how you can handle it. I'd get distracted constantly. I would end up not finding stuff because I have to look through other things that aren't important that are in my field of view. Yeah, I would have destroyed my cutting board if I didn't have this thing. I'm running into issues with spray paint that I've never had issues with before. Had 2 black cans of spray paint I needed to get rid of because they had clogged. And they weren't that old. But the spray paint, I find I'm still going to have to go and hand brush some stuff because it's not going to go into all the places you need it to go into. All right. Be right back. Okay. Sorry for that distraction. I don't think they're in here, but I do need to shove this stuff down. They claim that they're multi-pose plastics, but in actuality, the miniatures are meant to be posed one of maybe 3 different ways, if that. I could see that. I could see that posing a problem. Only multi-pose stuff I have is I remember the old 1/35th scale figures. And yeah, they had separate arms and stuff. I don't know if they had, most of the time they didn't have separate legs. Or at least the ones I had. And yeah, you could do all crazy stuff with the arms, but they're not going to look right in every which way. What I call them, Tamiya? Man, I called them Tamiya for so long when I was doing them. I don't know if I can get that out of my system. I don't know that I'm ever going to be able to get out of my system consistently. All right, back where we were. There was just a lot of hollering out there, and I wanted to see who was visiting. Anywho. Well, I've got some tank crewmen here that are plastic, but I'll be honest with you, I don't have a lot of experience painting plastic figures. I'm a little leery of them, of the plastic, of the paint sticking to them. But maybe it's just unfounded worry. Worrying about stuff I shouldn't even be worrying about. It's false advertising. Sounds like you need to have a duel with them. Who's the other people that are like Warlord? War Games Atlantic or something like that? They have some conquistadors or whatever. That's right down my alley, but I'm not going to do 28s. I just don't have the time to. And I'm not going to take bigger figures and do a shittier painting job than I do on 15s. You know, so it stands to reason they're going to take a lot longer to do than 15s. I think the bigger the figures are, in my opinion, the more detail the game has to have. That's just the way I think, and probably just a pipe dream. But you know, if you're going to spend a lot of effort into the vehicles or the figures or whatever, then the rules need to have that kind of detail. Otherwise, you know, why am I putting all this effort into something that's just vague and shit? You know. This knife's getting kind of dull. I'm debating whether or not to switch it out. It's false advertising, you imposter. I'm going to go ahead and switch it out. This is another one of these things that you can't buy on Amazon because you're probably not going to get real X-Acto knife blades. You're going to get, and I don't think I'm going to throw that one away. I think that one's good for chopping up metal stuff on lead models or something like that, white metal models. Let's see how much this first cut makes. Oh yeah. Big difference. I bought razors one time on Amazon because, you know, razors are expensive. You know, at least the ones I use. Those Gillette Fusions, those are expensive. It's like, well, let me get them on Amazon. They're about 30% off. And I got them, and they were the same packaging and everything, but they were not the same blades. So, some stuff, and it's not necessarily Amazon's fault. It's false advertising. On one hand, you could be like, well, Amazon should be policing all that stuff, but they have so many vendors, you know. I actually won't buy stuff from Warlord Games. The company is just as bad as Games Workshop with its price gouging. Well, they make the wrong scale for me to be interested in either one of them, so. It's those ships to Warlord Games that are absurd. They're like a weird scale. They're like 1/1800 scale. And they're mounted on a flip-flop. F that. I'm not playing that. I don't mind chips on a base, but I don't want the base to be just as thick as the hole is tall. It's like they're mounted on a flip-flop. But none of that stuff is tempting for me to buy. There's no stores that carry any of it in town. It's not like I'm going to come across and I'm like, man, I really want to buy these fill in the blank, whatever the heck they might be. We only got a couple of stores that have paints, and I think they're all Games Workshop paints. One store that I actually like has all the paints and stuff behind the counter, behind the register. I'm like, well, that's not going to get me to buy paint from you. Warlord's HMS Victory plastic is literally $40. God, seems like a lot. Burros and Badgers. I saw something about that the other day. Burros and Badgers. You don't talk much about that. I think it'd be kind of cool to paint the figures, to be honest with you. Isn't Eureka? I think Eureka makes like some frog guys, like frogs riding turtles and shit like that. That'd be cool. Can make some fun noises. Rabbits and shit. Scott of our group is the one who doesn't like that anamorphic or whatever, but I've never played one of those. I think it's an opportunity to, you know. I wouldn't want to do it with people as well, but if you're some land where there's, you know, people hadn't been invented yet, and animals take the people roles and do shit with them. Now, I don't want to do, what was that game called? Is it Slaughter Who or something like that? Where you've got dwarves that are Prussians and elves that are French, and that's not for me. But a total fantasy thing, like, you know, what I would imagine Burros and Badgers is. Burros and Badgers, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like the combat system for Watership Down. Like a Watership Down, like, war game. And that would be like the combat system for it. That's what it sounds like. Oathsworn. Really lovely miniatures. Alright, I'll have to look at them. I like looking at miniatures, even if it's something that I'm not going to buy. But Eureka makes frog guys. And I like frogs. Frogs are cool. And battle frogs and shit. With like spears and bucklers and stuff like that. Cool stuff. Okay, so let's fold this guy. I have no idea if this is the roof for it or not. But let's just pretend that it is. If I could go back in time, I'd avoid Warlord's pike and shot. Yeah, I have a feeling that Warlord, the rules, if it's a period you know a lot about, the rules aren't really going to satisfy you. I'm not going to give you the right period feel. But maybe it's something that, you know, you can modify. But if the turn sequence isn't... What turns me off of a game is if the game is too predictable. Or if you spend like large periods of time in it being not your turn, where you're just kind of waiting around, I don't think it's a good combination for me. Because then you're just like, hey, I'm going to go on another coffee break. Let me know when it's my turn. You basically lost the interest of one of the players. And I'm not sure what the turn sequence is for pike and shot, but it could be rather boring. Most games, I think, have a rather boring sequence where somebody's sitting around for long periods of time just not doing anything. Definitely like the anthropomorphic creatures in miniature form. It's something you don't see all the time and it's unique. Yeah, and you get to make cool noises. You know, not all the time, but you know, when the situation presents itself. Oathsworn, huh? All right. You talked me into it. I'll look now. Burrows and badges. Oath sworn. Here we go. Of course they're made in England. Everything good is. Miniatures. Bat Assassin. Mouse Knight. How many figures do you need? I assume this is something like where you build a team. It's kind of unique. So yeah, this happened the other day, okay? There's Royal Mail has informed us they are not currently able to send parcels outside the UK. Hope that gets taken care of. 'Cause I've got a situation I'd like to have resolved that's been going on a little too long. And it's kind of prevented me to get something. Typical band consists of 5 to 7 miniatures. Oh, that's my kind of game. That's pretty cool. There's probably good videos of Barnes Height. Welcome. There's probably videos of people playing the game online. Might check them out. Not that I'm going to get into it, but it's always interesting to look into something else. You know, I'd play it. I just wouldn't build my own. I mean, I've got limited time, and here's the damn thing. Bastard. Okay, and if this is the same one, this is the floor for it. Okay, I think we got all the parts for this thing. 5 to 7 miniatures. Yeah, and you could spend some time on them. Go look at those frogs from Eureka, man. They look awesome. Attack them with a big salt shaker. I think that's bad for frogs. And that's curtains for snails. Games don't all have to be serious. They got to be serious for me if it's like a World War II game. You know, if it's a World War II game, it's got to be serious. I mean, you know, crazy stuff can happen in it that, you know, but I can't play like a vague World War II-ish type of game. Now, if it was, you know, fantasy like that, sure, why not? Let's have fun with it. I don't, but it's quite popular in my Facebook gaming group. Hey, making me want to check a video of people playing it, especially if it has like nice terrain. There was a game at Historicon. If you watch my walkthrough video of Historicon that we went to last year, there was a game where these guys were running this Burros and Badgers type of game, but it was obviously in a grand scale. It was many. There was like hundreds of miniatures on the table, and there was like dwarves and different shit. There was some dwarves or gnomes or something like that had like Confederate flags or, you know, giant snails and stuff like that. I'm like, that could be fun. That could be fun with the right people. Of course, that kind of goes without saying. And likewise, something that's fun with the right people could also be a chore with the wrong people. And those people that have the wrong attitude or an incompatible attitude with you when you're gaming, I should say. Only returned to the hobby in September after close to 20 years away. Oh, man. No games at all? That's tough. Lack of gaming, easy to play rules, got easier just to play on the PC. Oh, you're still doing gaming. You just weren't doing miniatures. Okay. Yeah, there was a time, maybe around 2002, that I'm like, I don't think I'm going to game anymore because there was nobody here to game with. And I had such a bad experience at a show I went to. And I didn't have any people that lived in town. I live in a very nomadic town. People come here, they get their degree at the university, and they're gone. But I gotta do, even if I don't play this, I gotta do something creative. And playing on the PC is not creative. It's fun, don't get me wrong. And you can scratch the itch it'll scratch my gaming itch, but it won't scratch my, you know, creative itch. I gave up computer gaming for about 6 or 7 years. I didn't have a computer, but I still did stuff on the console and missed the creative part. Yeah, the creative part's important. For some of us, it's really important. That's the therapy part. I don't think the gaming part is therapy. I think that just sitting here and just, you know, building something cool and figure out how you're going to do it is really nice. Keeps us from going crazier. You can't get that in a computer game. And I like to socialize with people in a game, but not in a computer game. You're never going to meet. Half the people are dickheads. I don't turn my headset on or anything. You got 7-year-olds playing a mature level game, you know. At least they sound like 7-year-olds. Yorkist Rose. Any of those series worth watching? What is it? The White Queen or whatever? You guys seen any of those? Are they worth watching? I don't care if they're girly. I can handle watching girly stuff as long as it's, you know, food for historical thought. Doesn't even have to have any combat in it. I haven't seen any of those. But I am watching some movies that I hadn't been watching. Mainly as I want to get through all these stupid Resident Evil movies, even though they're terrible. And they don't reload any weapons. Just absurd stuff. Alright, full of these. This metal ruler definitely came in handy. Be a lot more difficult to do this without it. Oh, you know the problem I have with hex and counter games. Not that they're hexes or counters, but I just don't want to learn the rules. I'd love if all hex and counter games got turned into computer games. And then you can just click on shit and see if you can do it, and you can't help but learn the rules. You know what I'm not on the fence about. I'm not buying any war games that, you know, like a hex and counter war game. I'm not going to buy any ever again. Probably. I don't have anybody to play them with. You know, I want to learn how to play them, and I could be doing something else. Now, if they were on, if they were on the computer, like I've got the, what's that series called? The one that seems like a ripoff of ASL, Lock and Load Tactical. You know. Is this one? No. I have all those. That's a fine game. Ah, did it too soon. Got antsy. Gotta wait till this sets. Antsy in the pantsy. All right. Where are we at now? And we got another one of the same building and a shed. And then we're done. Well, we came here to do shit, so let's do shit. I'm gonna go ahead and do the shed first. Mix it up a little bit. Paper buildings drive me nuts. This is my first experience with them. I had them, and I bought them, 17 years ago, and I either need to throw them away or do this with them. Welcome, Spencer. Gary Grigsby, War in the East was a computer war game I played a while back. From what I remember, it was quite decent. I played the original one of all those. Or one of the original ones, all of them, and I can never remember what it's called. I think it's called Second Front, and I think it's a Gary Grigsby day, and I played the hell out of that game in around 91 or 92. And the games I really liked the V for Victory Atomic games. Those handled supply really uniquely, and you could still get them through abandonware and somehow play them, but I really like those games. I'm not opposed to counter games. I just don't want to read through rule books. And then some games that are counter games just don't have the deliveries not done right. I just can't get into the John Tiller games. They just don't look right. They look way too blurry, too antiquated looking, and I just can't get into them. The menus aren't they're not for me. They're not for me. And they reminded me a lot of a game that I used to play called, oh man, what was it called? Not called War in the East. All these games are called like the same freaking thing. But by a company called Talonsoft. And they even had a Pacific one. And you could play like historical scenarios, or you could play like a campaign where you could be a battalion, a panzer battalion through the war, and you would get random missions and stuff like that. I played it quite a bit. But, if they made a more modern looking version, the mechanics didn't have to be any different. Just not so grainy looking. Yeah. Way to alleviate the rules problem is stick to games that are part of the system so there are multiple games in that system. Yeah, but how do you start reading the first one? I just don't have the stomach for it anymore. And it doesn't mean that I don't want to play by the rules. I do. I just don't want to be frustrated by, oh, looks like I got that wrong again. It's just very unsatisfying, And, I don't want to do that by myself, if I was going to play a solo game, I'd do it like this, we can all hang out, whatever. And that's how I do it. But I'd rather build stuff. And then we can play some. The name of the game I can never remember. Hell Freezeth Over, whatever it's called. Gates of Hell, Ostfront. What a great game that is. That really scratches my World War II itch playing that. I don't know if you were on the other night when I was playing that, but you could literally go into the tank commander and just play the tanks. So I think what I'm going to do is there's going to be a time I'm going to fire that thing up and let the scenario run, and I'm going to do like 3-on-3 or something like that, because the most you can do is 4-on-4. So I can do like a 3-on-3, and then I'll be on one side as the fourth player. It'll be actually 4-on-3, but I won't do anything. So I can like pan around and, oh, look at these guys getting hunkered down, or I just don't have the stomach for it anymore. I haven't picked up these Face of Battle rules. I haven't sat down and read them again. I'm not there right now. I don't mind counter games as long as it's not advanced Rise and Decline in a Third Reich. I ain't playing that again. And I had a gamer friend of mine, it was like their favorite game. That didn't help. It doesn't help when your local person you play with has a game that their favorite game is one you absolutely hate. That's never a good combination. That's never a good combination. And there's some really cool games out there. They got a couple of new games on, like Hunting the Bismarck, which look really, really good. But I'm like, I'm going to get them and not do anything with them. So, you know. So I go on Board Game Geek, take a look at what the components consist of, and I'm good. And I'm back in, where I need to be. Okay, so this one has a different roof, looks like. Okay. So yeah, I watched that Rogue Heroes the other day, one episode of it. I don't know if I'm going to continue it. I'll probably watch other episodes if my daughter wants to continue watching it. She actually enjoyed it more than I did. I need to show her that movie you recommended to me. What is it, The Forgotten Battle or whatever? And see what she thinks of that. That and Generation War. Oh, did I just fuck up? No, I didn't. I made a mistake thinking I made a mistake. Eight, 172nd Brits, 8th Army completely dunked them in olive green paint. It was so bad. Yeah, especially because Desert Rat shouldn't be in olive green. Desert Rats and Africa Corps. Those are nice sculpts. And you know they're old. God, they gotta be from like the late 60s. Both of those sets are particularly good. I still have some of them somewhere. Man, I want to do some Desert British badly. Not that excited about the Africa Corps, to be honest with you. It's mainly because of, how I'm going to have to paint the vehicles. Not real excited about sandy looking Germans. And I have no infantry for it, so I have to go out and buy infantry and use the paint from the Soviet pack. Ooh. I remember the first thing I ever painted was a model of a Bismarck. It was the old Airfix 600 scale, which here in the States they were rebranded as MPC. And I had no paints other than a paint by number set that was oil that somebody had given me for like a birthday. And so I took those paints, got a color that looked like deck tan, and proceeded to paint the deck tan. And then put it in my closet because it stayed sticky. The paint stayed sticky for I think 3 weeks or something like that. Paint by number, oil paints. What a horrible idea. Painting on plastic, that's not porous. Yeah, not to sound like I'm made of money, but the money is not the big concern for me. Mine would be just time. I just don't have time to do everything and do enough of it to make a difference. I don't want to go and paint like, a honey. As much as I would like to paint honeys. Even with just building these buildings, my tanks aren't being built while I'm doing this. I may have to get different glue for this one. Then again, I may not. This stuff is pretty forgiving. I could always use a piece of tape, hold it on the inside. Did we get it? Almost got it. It needs to move to there. I want this scooted in a little bit. There. There. Now, leave this little guy alone. Okay. Applejack's box. No, it needs to be a Cheerios box. Cheerio. See, bolt action is very popular for World War II. I've heard it's just like Warhammer. Which means I wouldn't touch it for World War II. Might be a fine game, but not for World War II. Okay, this should be the last building. I started and then gave it all away. That's not a good sign. What didn't you like about it? It's mainly like I've seen a lot of people play it for tournaments. I don't want to play like Brits on Brits, or British fighting Russians. Okay, this gets a fold in the center, so let's go ahead and do that so we don't forget. Those were the instructions on that sheet. Just to get a fold in the middle. All right. Now we'll cut this floor. Chain of command is really close to what I want, but it isn't. I've seen a lot of videos of people playing it. The infantry is just a little too, like, you know, if you fire on guys, you just like randomly pick who dies, unless it's somebody who's like a leader or a support weapon guy. And I like a little bit more randomness in my games than that. And the movement's a little too generic for me. Like I said, I don't feel that way necessarily about every game, but I do about World War II stuff. That's my first love. Okay, here's the size of this building. Take this chimney the hell out of here. We're in chimney corner. I remember when GHQ was $4.50 a pack. And sure, at one point it's probably even less than that, but who knows what the hell it's up to? Probably $12. Is it Friday yet? Wake me up when it's Friday. He bought entire platoons of M1As and T-72s for $6. I remember playing Combined Arms in the late 80s, and I had West Germans. Well, I haven't said West and German together in a sentence for a long time. West Germans, Brits, and Soviets. And some guy had bought the GHQ company of M1s. They basically just broke the game. Wasn't any fun. You put a company of M1s out there, 3 M1s, and they really could dominate the whole thing. So I remember playing one scenario. There was only a company of M1s that was out there. 3 tanks. And they just created like a valley of death across this road that they needed to cross this bridge to get across. And they didn't make it. use that rule set. Yeah. GHQ was the only option here in this. Well, you had CNC, and they weren't that much cheaper. Their barrels were more realistic size, which meant they could get really bendy. I remember this one guy had some long-barreled Panzer IIIs from CNC, and they were almost like spaghetti, like bent in knots. The combined arms M1 was absurd. Yeah. What we would do was we'd drop smoke in front of our own M1s and then fire through the smoke. Because the M1 had thermals and the Russians one didn't. Yeah, they pretty much broke the game. It was worse than the Prophetess and Talisman. Hey, if you played Talisman, you know what I'm talking about. That bitch that could draw 2 cards, look at both of them, and then discard one of them. So not only was basically could avoid all kinds of problems, but they're seeing part of the deck when you're not. Just really broke the game. A place that had no historical gaming. Antarctica? You gotta make historical gaming. Yeah, there's nobody here that does historical gaming. They got a nice store that I happened to go by, and I didn't go inside. It was actually open till. It was actually in an area of kind of downtown. They're trying to refurbish, and they put an arcade in there. My wife and I went to date night at the arc last weekend. It was a lot of fun, but they had a game store right across the parking lot that was open till like midnight. Some nerd burglars in there role playing and whatever, but it was a big store. I just didn't step in there, you know. I'll have to one of these days. It's just kind of off the beaten path, but I think they've got Vallejo paint. So you take her out of the game. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not making this shit up. Yeah, it's you know, it's a pain in the ass. God, the fucking Prophetess. Western Pennsylvania. It was all 40K or Warhammer Fantasy. It refused to do historicals because they knew who won, so there was no point. Nerd burglars. That's right, had a nerd burglar sighting. You know what I call a nerd burglar is? Somebody who's like a role player or something like that. And when they go out in the world, they're still in that mode, like they're at a weird con and stuff. I mean, we're all nerdy to some degree or another, but you know, you need to function like a real human being in the world, you know. And there's sports nerd burglars too, you know. Those guys that know how far somebody, you know, ran with a ball or whatever. Yeah, they're nerd burglars too. That's a Tony original right there. Rick here, that's right. Hey folks, Rick here. There you go. It's funny because you did that tour of your game room, and then you did kind of like that back closet that you were kind of leery to show. Your black closet? No, that's something different. Your back closet is more organized than most gamers place. Your back closet is more organized than Mitch's game area. I go in there and I can't even think. There's shit everywhere. So, might be crazy for you, but you know, like this area is just a mess right now. I got paper everywhere, but it'll be picked up in no time. I can't function like this. I can't think. That makes you feel better. Yeah, it's fine, you know. There's a couple of things that drove me crazy on your video, and you're never going to guess what they are. First of all, my pet, like when you were doing your area where you were like, when you were painting, like your painting area, you know, which is, it looks like a pretty good painting area. You had a couple of containers there, I think that you had like paints in, and you still had the stickers that go on the freaking container. And I'm telling you, that's like, I'm like ADD, you know. I can't handle stuff like that. I've been known to go to other people at a show and go to their box and peel their stickers off. You know, when you buy a hat or you buy something, take the effing stickers off, right? Don't leave them on there. Because it's like this advertising this Tupperware thing. Yeah, you already bought the fucker, okay? You don't need that advertising on there. Yeah. That drives me crazy. People that wear hats and still leave the sticker on them. Did you steal it? No? Then take the damn sticker off. Like protecting a hat. Hey, I protect my hats too, you know. I wear them so, you know, I don't look like this when I get out of the shower, right? When I get out of the shower, I don't want to put shit in my hair because I'm just going to stay home and go to bed. So I throw a hat on. Yeah, use stuff. What else? Oh, you can save a lot of space. You've got like all those Mage Knight figures. If you take that display down, you could probably fit, and you could probably get another bookcase in there. You know, I do like your clown. I do like your popcorn clown. He's pretty cool. I thought he was pretty cool. Whatever his name is, Krusty, Simon, whatever his name is. Do you take your price tags off your paint? You better believe it. If they can come off. Now, Hobby Lobby's a bunch of dicks, I think. I think it's them. And they gave it like an... Let me see if I can find one of these. Let's see if they... these... Yeah, look at these bastards. Okay? So, this is a regular Vallejo bottle, right? And in here, look, they added like this print built into there. Technically, that's not a paint thing, a sticker, because it has the name of it. But that's kind of a new thing that they did. But yeah, I take the paint. I take the thing. It's annoying. It's a distraction, you know. It's like, squirrel, you know. Hey, we all have our issues. That one happens to be mine. I'm sure we all have our pet peeves. Let's go to the other side. It's not cut. Look what this would have done to my self-healing mat. It would have been a disaster. I want to buy another one of them. Oh, we're all some kind of crazy or another, but people that use cell phones and don't put cases on cell phones. Like, are you like made of money? Even if you were made of money, who wants to go to the cell phone store again? That's a place where things don't move very fast. Yeah, protect the stuff you have. They still get scratches. They had that amazing sale for a whole month, and I never took advantage of the Lion Rampant. Yeah, every time I was about to do it, somebody's birthday, then Christmas, now more birthdays. Never ends. Well, Rick, if somebody doesn't need more stuff, it's you. You've got plenty of stuff. I don't know how. I can't have stuff and not open it. You know, I could see not playing. I got to see what's inside. I got to see what's inside. But I mentioned this earlier in one of my videos. The internet is actually unhelpful for me to actually buy more stuff because people do unboxing videos, right? So you get to see sometimes, if there's a video of it, of what's inside the box of what you buy or are looking forward to buying. And back a long time ago, not even that long ago, before there was Board Game Geek, that people take pictures of all the parts and stuff like that, or like even with miniatures, you'd find out, oh, these guys make, I don't know, Russian cavalry, right? Like, oh, I want some Soviet cavalry, but I don't know what they look like. There's no pictures, so you're like, I'll order them. And most of the time, you'd really be disappointed. But it would be like you'd be like, okay, I wonder what they look like. Now there's you just look at the pictures, and there's no thrill of buying the figures, not knowing what you're going to do. Don't get me wrong, it's better now, but it's kind of counterintuitive to what the intent was. You know, I read an article the other day, and I don't know if it's true or not because I just read it, and it was about Google. It was about Google and their Alexas and what's the little one called? You know, they're little things that listen to you. Echo and Alexa. And apparently, according to this article, they're a huge loss for Google because Google's intent was, according to this article, was to have this device and not listen to you, but have this device that you're like, Alexa, order me more. I got to be careful because there's one in the other room and I don't want it to order and shit. But order me Vallejo ground texture because I'm almost out, right? And I kind of am. And in other words, use it to easily get you to purchase more items from them. But when they'll find out is hardly anybody's using it for that, because the problem is that there's lots of pitfalls of different sizes. You know, when you go and say you look at Amazon, you can't just look on, hey, I want such and such, because there's all kinds of varieties. There's some that may not be the legitimate item, or there's a better price on it or something else. So people ended up ordering them through their phones and their computer, not using the Echoes and Alexas to do it. So according to this article, it was a big flop. It was a big loss for them. So they thought it was going to be A, and ended up being, you know, B, a novelty thing. I don't order things through that. There goes the tip. That's why it was louder. That the tip broke off the end of these. There's just some things you can't mail order. You know, you can't mail order. You can't mail order razors. I know that. You can't, because you get the wrong ones. And you can't mail order these things because I've heard like horror stories of getting ones that break off too easy. They're dangerous. You know, you can't order like socks reliably. Even if you get the right one, you'll get in the store. You'll get ones that are like the best ones that are like from same brand and everything. They'll be like from Vietnam. And if you mail order them, you get them from Amazon. You could get them from China or India, and they're just not the same thing. They're not the same quality. So there's like almost like different versions of different stuff. So, you know, luckily if you order something through Amazon, at least here, you could return it at a department store called Kohl's, which I happen to really, really like because you just take all of your things that you want to take back, one place, they package them up, and they give you this nice coupon, which isn't even a coupon. It's literally, here's $5 to spend in our store, and then you go in that store and you buy something else. Of course, you know, you went through some effort to go there, and you know, it does cost you some fuel, but, you know, I don't mind returning things that way, so. Oh, hold on a second here. 3 times 1. Did you see? Wizard of the Coast is revoking their open game license and has pissed off a huge amount of people who play their games. I don't know anything about that. I mean, I did hear about it, but I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. There's always controversy with that company, isn't there? Just seems like there always is something going on with them. Like, just make games. Don't make political statements. And I guess this was not really a political statement. Some of us play games to get away from real world stuff, not bring the real world stuff into the game, you know? I'm going to do a no-no. I'm going to put a different tip on it as soon as I can find it, because I want that fine edge one. I'm not going to throw that away. We'll use it again. And it only affects content creators that want to sell their content. Because if you're just making stuff for yourself, who cares if you have permission to do it or not? You can do whatever the hell you want. God, I haven't played a TSR thing well, I haven't played it since I was like freaking 15. I'm probably the wrong example for that. And I wouldn't want to play it as a role-playing game. I'd want to play it like Rick has with a miniatures game. You know, you can have some role-playing stuff to it, but I want a physical representation of where your position is in a battle or something like that. Not where everybody's imagining something different. Okay, let's do the bottoms now. Like I said, I don't think I'd buy these now. I just happen to have them. I've been sitting on these bastards for so long because I was afraid. I'd screw it up. It's like you're afraid of asking that girl out, and she ends up liking you all along. Just freaking go in. Just do it. Do it. Do it now. Rick, do you have it? Weren't you having a conversation one time that you said that players in your group tended to not play human characters? It would never occur to me to not play a human. Like, I like being a human and wouldn't want to be anything else. Why would you want to be a, half dragon, half orc ogre thing? Those things smell bad. They sound like they would smell really bad. I've always played human characters. And I don't just mean role-playing games. I'm like, if you can play a dwarf or nope, human. Every time. Every time. No question about it. Okay. Not only do they not play a human, they actively are anti-human. Every character I've ever played, whether a tabletop or video game, has been human. Absolutely. And I'm pro-human. You try killing the human. I don't even like movies that they try to eliminate they even insinuate eliminating the human race. I'm like, no. Like, I'm standing up to that shit and you guys are going down now. You done opened up some whoop ass. Yeah. Oh, this is just a junk piece. Now what I will do is productive. I will play female characters if the character I think is appropriate for it. I've got no problem with that. I mix and match between the two. Doesn't bother me at all. But never, always a human. The reason they play in one is just human. It breaks up the sameness of playing the same thing over and over again. Well, what you do is you have somebody who's running the game create random characters, and you don't get to pick one. So sometimes you got to play somebody who's outside your comfort zone. But the thing is if, let's say they want to play an elf, and one time they want to play a dwarf, and next time they want to play a troll. Are they really playing in a dwarf type way? Are they playing in a troll type way? Or they just want to look different? Maybe you're playing with ugly people, and they when they go home they want to look better than their character does. I'm gonna play a really ugly game, and I'm gonna play a really ugly character in real life. So when I go home and look myself in the mirror, I'm like, I'm not that bad. I'm a solid 4. Can I have a sewing needle plus 20 of human smiting? You can't do that with role-playing games, Tony. Most players will refuse to do that. The people I game with have no problem with it, but they're not most role players. I think we all wear deodorant, so that right there There's two things that always fit and never go out of style. That's deodorant and freedom. Remember that. Okay, I think we just have, we just have to fold these things. Let's do these edges here. Yeah. Play an ugly character, make yourself feel better. That what you thought was funny? Or the deodorant and freedom? Maybe both. Maybe neither. Not me. I want to play a character. I want the character to be hot, especially if it's a girl. Absolutely. The stench of a lengthy game session at the local shop. It's like working at a bakery and coming home smelling of rolls. After Magic the Gathering marathon where the BO of those around you soaked into your clothing. Oh man. There's no excuse for that. You know, everybody should be showering once a day, minimum. And you put on deodorant and you put on clean clothes. What the hell's wrong with you? I'm gonna have to have a word with your mothers. I played that whatchamacallit game for a little while for free. What was that game that Blizzard made that was like Magic the Gathering? Hearthstone. Yeah, I played that for free. I didn't spend no money. Those games that are available to play for free or for money, I just played them for free. You get tired of them anyways, and then you didn't invest anything in them. You can walk away from it at any time. That game actually looked okay. You know what game's a lot of fun? I'm sure you have it, Rick. You had some game that was on your shelf that I was going to ask you about, and I forgot what the hell it was. It might have been this one. I gotta think of what it's called. I could just go to the. I could just go to my shelf and get it because I own 2 copies of it. Little card game. Flux. Flux is a fun little game. Flux is a game that I thought was really complicated until I got a copy. And then I'm like, oh, this is easy. Yeah, the rules change, but they're right there. You can keep track of it. That's a fun little game. I got the standard one and I got the Monty Python and the Holy Grail one, which is great, except has a lot of singing stuff, and I'm not a singer. You're welcome. The problem with singing is I don't enjoy singing. You know, you could say, well, I don't dance, but when I do dance, it's enjoyable. But I don't enjoy singing at all. Monty Python Flux. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as the standard one. It's a cool game. Okay. That little bastard's done. I'm not going to put undue pressure on these. And then this one has a different roof. This one has, and I'm not, I guess technically I could glue this roof down and I could just take the whole thing up, but so even though this building is the same as this building, they have different roofs. This goes inside here. Bend these over more. And we'll have to see this weekend. We'll take some pictures with some vehicles and on the playing mat and see what it looks like. You have Pirate Flux. Yeah. I don't know what this fascination with pirates is. You pirate fan? I'm not a pirate fan. I'm not a fan of things pirate, of things piratey. They have a zombies flux. I have a lot of them. They probably have like 20 of them or something like that. The basic one's a little boring, like cookies and milk, and eggs and bacon. I don't know. I don't think bacon's in there. That's why the game's not good. It doesn't have bacon in it. You like pirates, but I'm not obsessed or anything. Obsessed with pirate obsession. Okay, fences. We'll see how these go. I'm not gonna worry about the chimneys at this point. F that noise. Man, we got a lot of fences. I better go take a pee break. I'll be right back. Okay. A fencing we will go. Well, how many do we have? And is this one smaller? Because if it is, then we will do the small one first. They're the same size. Okay, well, let's do these first because they're less crazy. Are they less crazy? Ooh, this is going to be a challenge. Challenge accepted. Okay. Thursday night fencing. Ha ha! On guard, you bastard. Okay, this is going to fold over, but there's this white area here. There's this white area here that is really part of no fence, so I feel like I need to cut it out first. So we just leave the supports here. Yeah, let's do that. I actually have some fences around there somewhere in a box of stuff I haven't touched since about the year 2000, and we made them out of matchsticks. But honestly, these would be just fine, even though they're not transparent. In other words, you could have a guy hiding behind them and you can't see him. You can't see the bottom section of them. How the hell are you going to stand up? I bet this little part bends the opposite way. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do that. And then we're going to, oh, I know. So one side goes one, right. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to cut this out like this. This is a lot of intensive cutting. Kind of. Surprised I haven't fucked up a cut yet. That's right, I went there. So I could eat my words then when I screw up. Now this one, I don't know how good the glue is going to do on this, because this is a large area it's going to be glued across, but hey, we'll figure this out together. And I can see how somebody thinks I have a lot of patience to do this, but keep in mind, all of this that I've done, nothing has become undone. It's not like I'm back here fighting these things with them being unglued and stuff. That would be frustrating as crap. That would be very frustrating. All right, so this you should create your own flux game and call it Bacon Flux. Well, I'm surprised there isn't a Bacon Flux. Almost everybody's a bacon fan. Now, a lot of people that are bacon fans, I'm pretty sure that they don't eat all their vegetables. See, I eat all my vegetables too, you know. And I like ham just as much as bacon. Ham's a lot more useful. Okay, so we should be able to take this little piece out like so. Okay. And this side will have the same thing, but the center will also have the same thing. The center will have this section that is here. And then, go away, Mr. Scissors. We'll carefully cut this out. And this little bastard should just pop out. And then this side, same thing. This better look good, because this is more of a pain in the ass than making a real fence. Just saying. Okay. Now what will happen is this will bend over. This will bend over. This will flex over. And then I think this will go one way and the other one will go the other way to kind of help stabilize it. All right, so let's just do that all the way through. Thursday night's all right for fencing. Yep. Maybe we'll be able to take some cool pictures with the tanks then in their natural environment. I don't know. These buildings look okay. They're a little cartoonish. Like I said, I'll either like them or I won't. But at least I gave them assembled them before I decided to give up on them. Rick, are you a corner clipper? Or for that matter, Nordic, are you a corner clipper? When I was into cardboard counter games, corner clipping didn't exist. But I would definitely would be. I like a good looking clipped counter. This is going to look great or it's going to suck. I'm pretty sure. So here's to hoping. And even though this takes a long time to do, what's important isn't that this takes a long time to do, but that you don't have to do it again. You are a corner clipper, but I use a large nail clipper as it's cheaper and doesn't break like those Oregon clippers. Yeah, what's up with that? I think you just have too many plastic parts, don't they? I don't mind counter games as long as they look good. There's lots of counter games. I may not be able to think of them right now that I think look excellent. I think the Command and Colors games with the blocks, with the stickers, I think those look nice. Nobody agrees with me. They're like, "Oh, we'd rather use miniatures," but I think they look good. You corner clipper, you. That's right. I don't know that I have any games that have the counters clipped though. The corners clipped. Too many fiddly parts that can break during cheap construction. Yeah, but those things are expensive, right? They're like $50 or $60 each. Oregon, what are they called? Oregon something or another. Oregon Dynamics or Technologies or Hyperbole. No, I don't remember what it's called. Oregon something or another. But that's something you do one time, you know? Oregon Laminations. There you go. It's not even a laminate. It's not even a laminator. Okay, let's go ahead and just do the other side, and then we'll come back and do the center. Well, I'm actually enjoying this, honestly. What time is it? 9:30. I don't think I'm gonna have time to watch the next. What's it called that I'm watching? Resident Evil. God, they're really trash. They're really trash movie. When I saw them, like, these guys aren't even making any attempt to reload at all. It's I'm just watching them all just to see if I decide to get the game. I'll at least have some kind of a semblance of what the plot is. One game that I'm a huge fan of, maybe not a huge fan. I like the game a lot. The plot is less than stellar. Is Borderlands. I think Borderlands is first of all, it's hilarious. And it's really well done. I never played the first one. But I played the second one and the prequel and the third one. The third one's not so good. The second one is, and the prequel is excellent. Nordic is like Tiny Tina. If you played it, you know what I'm talking about. Freaking Tiny Tina's hilarious. That's some funny shit. You know those folks had some fun games coming up with that dialogue. Tiny Tina Nordic. You get it then. There's one of those. I haven't played the latest one because there's one that came out like 6 months ago, and it's just too much money to like. I think the second one, I got like the second one and the prequel like after they've been out for a while for like $30 or something for both of them. Like that's a steal. And it came with all the extra stuff. And they had like a Tiny Tina Halloween or like a D&D one. It was freaking hilarious. I had some funny shit in there. But that's a game, as much as I like it. Unlike Diablo, I've played through it, but I haven't played through it with multiple characters. I'm like, I pick one character and I go all the way through the freaking game. And I'm not like, well, let me try this a game with like the ninja or something like that. So I've only played the second one. I've played it with the guy. I don't remember what his name is. We'll call him Max. He ends up like throwing his little. He has like a little tripod thing that goes and helps kill things with him. He's just like a grenadier looking dude, and he has like a little tripod that goes and kills whatever his name is. So I played it with him, and because I didn't want to play with a ninja, I figured it would be too much avoiding combat stuff. What's the ninja's called? Zero. And then the prequel, I played with the girl with a buckler, Athena. And who did I play the new one? Oh, the Irish dude. Whatever his name is. He's like basically an Irish free agent spy guy. Take that as a compliment. Look, Tony, no one steals mushy snuggle bites, but donka-donkin lips. Bunkers and badasses. So you have played it. I don't remember what it was called, but it's freaking, it's a funny game. It's a funny game. And it has aspects of a lot of games. It's a first person shooter. It has a lot of Diablo things, like where you're basically a treasure hunt for weapons, and they're rated like different things, and you can make other things with them. And then it's got World of Warcraft stuff where things regenerate constantly, you know. So you have to keep grinding. You have to keep grinding something, or they'll end up, enveloping you and stuff like that. Yeah. What's the crazy dude, man? What's the crazy dude that has the demolition derby, whatever his name is? Oh man, he's got some great liners too. Mr. Steele, I can't remember what his name is. He's got some fun. I'm telling you, those guys had a blast doing the dialogue for that game. I can just tell. A lot of YouTube videos, yeah. It's a freaking great game. It is a great game. And it's a game where everybody's a bad guy. There are no good guys in that thing. Okay, so this needs to line up with this. So this is what a fence looks like. And of course, the bottom would be like this. Now, I don't know how good this glue is going to do. And then if we put it next to a shed, let's see what this... And I love the cell animation in the game. I love it. It works great. It's just the plot's kind of stupid, you know, the handsome, what's his name, Handsome Jack? It's just kind of dumbass. Is it Mr. Torg? Oh, God, I'm going to have to... It's some funny shit. That's some funny shit. All right, we're just going to slop. I got 4 of these things, so I can use plenty of this stuff. I think it'd be easier and better looking if I made it on matchsticks. You know it, but I got it, so let me try it. At least matches the look of the whole thing. Tiny Tina. And there's a lot of people that do cosplay of that stuff. Cosplay stuff is really weird. That's, especially if you're cosplaying something that, you know, your body's really not meant for. I'm just going to leave that there. There's some characters that your frame just doesn't match. And I'm sorry, you know, it's, you know, there are no stormtroopers in Star Wars that weigh 500 pounds, you know? You just go be something else. Lenora is going to play cosplay Tiny Tina. Yeah. This is one girl did a cosplay of, is it Maya? And she nailed it. And she was hot. I think that's the character. One of those bender, whatever, the magician, whatever. I'll have to find it. Just nailed it. But she kind of looked like the girl too, you know, it kind of, you know, has to go that way. Let me see if I can find that. There's your frame match. Oh, man. Let's see. I should be able to find this easily. We're going to do on here. I believe her name was Maya. Maya. Borderlands. Cosplay. Let's see. And of course, there's a million of these. I'm just talking about one in particular. I really like the way they did the makeup. I thought that was super, super cool. Oh, this one's not bad either. It's this one. Man, this chick nailed it. Save image. Yeah, just save it here somewhere. We're going to put it on screen. Let's see. Oliver Cromwell has returned. Uh-oh. That hand grenade never stopped exploding. That actually sounds like a real weapon. Let's see. Let's get an image here. Okay. It's not going to be the right image, right? But we can get it in the right place, okay? Let's make it a little smaller. I will replace that image with what are we going to do here? Let's do open the source properties, right? Okay. The cell animation is awesome. Look at this. This is incredible. And done. Freaking nailed it. And you know it's a pain in the ass to do all that kind of that stuff, and probably took 4 hours or something like that. Anyhow, it's a great game. It's a great game if you've never played it. Yeah, it's really well done. So, and you have a few of those that are, yeah. Okay. Now, we got these two sides glued. I don't know, this is... I don't want to put these on stands or anything because I may need to set up something that's flexible, or I may need to put like a bend in, you know, one of these corners or something like that. I think this works. I think this works. Bicorn manager. Yeah, something happened recently that that like every vendor isn't able to ship Royal Mail across the pond. And hopefully what I'm waiting to arrive has already been shipped, because they were sending me a replacement something, and then they forgot about me. And like, oh, we'll get it out in the mail to you. And it's been 7 days. So hopefully that cyber breach isn't going to affect that. Oh no, did I get some glue on here? That stuff is really forgiving. All right, is this gonna come up? Because we don't want this to. Okay. All right, next fence. Let's do a different fence. Let's not do the same one. 'Cause I have another one like that. Let's do this. Let's do this different fence thing here. I just hate people that like do viruses and they don't even steal any money. They just do it to, like, you know, be a dick. You know? That's like, you need a job, dude. There's a lot of these. But it looks like it's a lot less cutting. Because we're just going to come up one side. These scissors ain't going to be worth just scratching your back when I'm done with them. Okay, we'll do the little doors next. And let's cut this edge as well. sounds almost mesmerizing. What's that? What's that BS you see things all over the internet all the time about that ASMR or whatever the hell it is? That I don't even know what the hell it is. I just hear it. I'm going to try to cut this right on the thing and save myself a cut. Wait, they get some girls will whisper in your ear or some shit like that. I don't know what the hell it is. I just see it come on. Like, why would you suggest that to me? I'm not interested in that. First of all, I don't hear well, so the idea of somebody whispering to me is like, you know, causes me distress, not calming. ASM, what the hell does it stand for? ASMR. Yeah, I can't stand when you're watching some movie at the movie theater and they're like, what the hell are they saying? Like, there was an episode of Walking Dead before I watched it. There was this conversation between Carol and Daryl, okay? And Carol was like, and Daryl was like, I'm like, I have no subtitles. I'm like, what kind of abortion is this? You know, whispers and grunts, you know? Autonomous sensory meridian response. Yeah. Is this supposed to be calming? I don't know. Is that a common thing or is that like a fetish thing? I don't know. I'm sure whatever you're into, there's a website for it. I'm like into elephants, but not the Indian ones, just the African ones. Oh, we got a site for you. Okay. I don't know if I could repeat that. Autonomous meridian response. Sensory. You have a whole ASMR? That sensation you get tingles from certain sounds. What? Somebody role-playing as an eye doctor. Wow. I just can't hear whispers, so I find it annoying. Yeah, there seem to be a lot of Eastern European girls that have videos on that, whatever that means. I wonder why there's this notch here. Well, let's fold one of these bitches over and see what they do. I don't want to do this as a hard one because I need to line up the edges on the other side. Hobby ASMR. I bet there's some of that on there. Before I screw up completely, chewing sounds. Especially pasta. They stir wet noodles in a bowl. The squishy sounds them real close. I've never seen those videos. Wow. I don't know. I don't know. I guess it could be worse. Um, what was I going to look at? Oh, I was going to look at the picture of this thing. Let me take a look at the picture of this built village. It should be. What about people yawning? Oh man, where is the picture of this village that? Man, at least it's productive. Now hopefully this one's big enough. Of course it's not. All right, let's zoom it in. Let's see if I can make out this fence. Well, this one looks like this. We're good there. This fence, oh my God, those crazy bastards look like they actually cut along the edges and made the top of it uneven. I ain't doing that shit. That's sadistic. That's sadistic. Nah, I ain't doing that. Well, I say I'm not doing that. Maybe I'll end up doing it. Oh, let's see. Let's go back here. There we go. They got yeah, I don't mind a role-playing game as long as the role-playing aspect of it is kind of light. I don't want to be like checking for traps and shit like that all the time. I remember way back in the day I ended up having, what was that game that I've had several fantasy role-playing type games on the computer. One of them that I really liked was Dungeon Siege. I never was able to finish it because my computer was, at the time, was barely capable of running it. And then, of course, the original, what's the name? I can never remember the name of the Baldur's Gate. Was great until, I got attacked by these freaking magic arrows and I couldn't save or something. And, once you die like 9 times in a row, I'm like, okay, I'm moving on to something else. I don't need this kind of torture. Getting killed 9 times in a row. That's a pain in the ass reloading that many times. Like, I already have a job I hate. I don't need a hobby I hate too. Okay. Good. And then we'll just, we'll make this a glue sandwich. Yeah, I'm really happy with this glue. It's really forgiving. Ah, snap. Here we go. And I suspect where you see a little, you could probably bend this some degree or another. But I'll probably do that after this thing's dry. Okay. All right. Here we go again. Man, it's 10 already? Jeez. Well, all the houses are done except the chimneys, which I don't know that I'm going to put that much of an importance on doing those. You have Twilight 2000? I remember way back in the day of playing that. The name of this company is Paper Terrain, and paperterrain.com, and this happens to be the Northern Russian Hamlet set. And I've had them for a long time, like 17 years, and never put them together. And it's time to shit or get off the pot. And I think I'm going to be fairly happy with them. They'll do the job, I think. He's got all kinds of stuff in different scales. Honestly, I think the pricing on him is pretty good. If he makes them himself, I don't think he's turning a huge profit on these things. I mean, it does cost ink, you know. You graduated high school the year I got that terrain. Well, at least you graduated. Imagine if you hadn't graduated. I never feel old. I always complain about punk asses, though. That's what I do. I don't ever feel old. When I encounter somebody my age, I'm thinking, man, you look old. That's what I do. But, you know, I think this hobby keeps me young, I think. You know. It's supposed to be good for you, not cause stress and shit. You've been getting into papercraft miniatures and terrain lately, so I'm always happy to find more people who make them. Yeah, they've been around for a while. I think it's a one-man show. His name's Scott Washburn. He's always been a Historicon ever since I've been there. He was there this last year. And he makes all kinds of stuff from, I think he's even got some 3mm stuff. I was hoping he would have Asians in 6, but he doesn't. He's got like samurai stuff, and it doesn't go into that small scale, but I do like the 6mm stuff to use for buildings and other games. But these are 20mm, 1/72. And I think they look good if you can get over them being wafer thin, which sometimes it works for what you're doing and sometimes it doesn't. But if you can get over the thinness of them, they're fine on the fences, just, I think they're going to be durable enough. And this is just an Elmer's glue stick, and it seems to be working okay. It takes pretty much overnight for it to glue or stay in place. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I tried watching that one time. That was enough. All I remember is I didn't like it, and Sean Connery's in it. That's it. That's all I remember about it. But the stuff I've been watching recently is pretty bad too. But man, I tried watching that John Wick a couple times. I'm not John Wick. What's the one one with the Victorian science fiction in Mars? John, whatever the hell it is. Man, that went nowhere for me. Whatever that guy's name is, John Carter. Either check them out. Might be using Peter Dennis as Peter's Paperboy since I have trouble finding other good quality artwork. Oh, I'm familiar with those. I don't have any of them, but yeah, those look pretty good. Anyone watch All Quiet on the Western Front? Is it any good? It's worth watching. It's worth watching. There's some decisions that they made with it that I don't necessarily agree with, but it's worth watching. The special effects are incredible. It probably shows the horror of war more than anything I've ever seen. That doesn't mean, and that's I think a reason you should watch it. I think it's people need you need to see stuff like that. It's not all glory, and it's one of those that you'd watch once, kind of thing. Definitely worth watching. I haven't seen 1917 to compare, but I have a feeling they won't compare very, very closely. I definitely recommend you watching it though. It's well done. I just didn't enjoy the irony of when the last battle takes place. That's all. It just seems like one of those stupid Hollywoodisms. What do you think I am? 7 years old? BS things that. Other than that, it's definitely worth watching. Found 1917 to be a one-time watch. I haven't seen it, but I have a feeling that I would like this movie more than 1917. Definitely should see it though. Definitely should see it. I never saw the original black and white one. I saw the 1977 one with Borgnine and John Boy, and thought those two were cast horrendously bad for that film. That's all I remember about it. I think this one's pretty... It shows the horror roar really well. But it didn't leave me wanting to buy World War I miniatures, so I guess it failed. 1970 Cromwell is great. That's the one with Harris, right? Which I'm a fan of Harris. I haven't seen it. I have not seen it. Okay. I'll roll these things. Just watched it the other night. Yeah, I haven't seen it. What trailer did I see the other day? Some World War II movie. Siberian Sniper or something like that. But it just seems like, oh, here comes another Soviet propaganda film. I think I'll pass on that one. But I did get excited. Like, oh, there's a trailer. There's Panzer IIIs. Alec Guinness played the great Charles I. Still haven't seen The Duelist. Still trying to find it out there. You know, and not having to rent it. See, they're making a new Three Musketeers movie in French. Well, that's appropriate. That's what language it should be in. Yeah, in the past few years, I haven't seen any extraordinary World War II movies. The one Nordic recommended that's pretty freaking good. What's that one called? The Forgotten Battle? That one's a pretty freaking good movie. And the stupidly named 1944 isn't a bad movie either. It's on Netflix, I think, or Amazon. And Generation War is excellent. I really like Generation War. I like it so much, I think I'm going to watch it again with the daughter. I think she would like it. It's not too graphic. And it shows different points of view that, you know, appeals to some folks. I never watched the second half or the second 2/3 of Hacksaw Ridge. I got bored. I was absolutely bored. 1944 was good. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't that one take place in Estonia? It did. It did, and it had T-34-85s. It switched the viewpoint of the characters. It had a really good mock-up of the Prince Eugen bombarding people. It had a lot. It had a lot going for it. You know, it had a lot going for it. It just has a stupid title. You know, like you can make a good movie, you just can't come up with a title. Got it. Yeah, Forgotten Battle's pretty darn good too. I really disliked the Midway movie. I thought the Pearl Harbor movie was better than the Midway movie. Did not like the Midway movie at all. What else was good? I'm sure I've seen something else that's good, but it's hard to remember. But there's a lot of duds for one good one. It's kind of inevitable. I thought the special effects in T-34 were awesome. Everything else about it was just pure hot garbage. But the special effects are, that's how this game plays. That's how this game plays when, you know, you fire a gun and, you know, you hit, where does it do? Does it penetrate? What happens to the crew kind of stuff? Oh, they're in shock. You must depart. Adios. Well, you're not going to miss a whole lot because I gotta go. I gotta get to bed soon too, because it's one of my least favorite day of the week. Why? Because I'm tired. I'm tired on Fridays. That's why. Let's see what we got left on that. Throw these away. What we got left? We got this stupid fence gonna take an hour forever, and another more of this fence. All right, well, I'm gonna take these. See, are these quick? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut these and put these out as well. That way it can already be glued. same with the other side. More ASMR for you. Might have to change my outfit to be more appealing for the ASMR. Oh boy, we're gonna have to use all our talents to do these cuts. Play a game, the whole game we're whispering. I'm like, what the hell? Yeah, I think I would have trouble playing a game and being that quiet. I'm kind of easy to hear. Alright, so this has a straight section, so we're going to do that one, and then here, and then here, and then we're going to come across it. There's some nerd burglar behind. They didn't have those kind of fences in the Soviet Union in the early 1940s. You go to Gulag. All alone, no partner. Yeah, that was actually a lot easier. Just what I got the little vacuum cleaner for. It's supposed to be for my car, but it never made it out to the car. It's much more useful here. That's right. A fence Nazi. That's such a misnomer. Because you think that you call somebody a Nazi, they'd be all like real knowledgeable and stuff like that. And there's like tons of examples of them being just corrupt, incompetent people that just got where they were because they knew somebody. So, fence Nazi, yeah. Nerd burglar extraordinaire. Now this little bastard. This little bastard made his fence out of sticks. Should be able to line those up. Let's go ahead and bend them all first. All right, here goes. Problem is there's nowhere to hold on to this piece by. Okay, this goes with, which one of these? Is it this kind? I think it does. Okay. Well, all in all, I'm almost done with this project, and honestly, I think it's gone really well. It's gone better than I thought it was going to go. This glue is the way to go, I think, because I mean, I have some of it coming off, so I just take it off and don't worry about it, you know? Has zero smell. Could probably eat it. It probably would have if you're in the third grade. Kids that eat paste. I don't know that I ever saw somebody eating paste, but there certainly was that rumor that so and so ate paste. Yeah, paste eater. Now all this, you can just pick it up and pretty much make it disappear by rubbing it off. Okay, for the period. My sixth grade teacher accused us all of eating our boogers. I swear I've never. What about a glue booger? Well, you wouldn't eat one, but I like glue boogers. Glue boogers are what I call glue boogers. Is you get this packaging, usually like a credit card, right? Credit card gets mailed to you, and it's on a piece of paper, and it's, it's attached with a glue booger. So it's like a hot glue gun, whatever what's that stuff that used to be called? Rubber cement, you know, and you get to pull it off and play with your glue booger. No? Rather me or someone else's, no matter persuasive they tried to be. Well, if you have a runny nose, you've already eaten your boogers. You just didn't know. Is there a ASMR for that too? People that eat boogers? Look it up. Okay, so what do we have left? We've got the chimneys, which I'm not too worried about, and we've got this fencing here, and these are good to go. Not really going to get a good idea what the hell these things look like because, they're on this surface, so they're not on a surface that looks, appropriate. But we'll have to take some pictures of them and see if this is the way we're going to go forward, or we're going to go in a different direction. But like I said, I had these guys, and it is either I use them or I don't use them. But yeah, I would rather watch that than a ketchup ASMR, where somebody's like, that would be hell on earth for me. Anyhow, how long have we been on here? Over 3.5 hours. Excellent. Well, we got a lot of stuff done. We got a pile of. Let's see, how can I do this? Let's see if I can do this. Let's just unconnect. Okay, we got a pile of stuff here. Of course, these don't weigh anything at all. So we're letting them dry, and then we will mess with them tomorrow. But thanks for stopping by, folks. And you guys have a good night, and we'll see you maybe on Friday. See you, folks.